I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to talk. That's really, that was when I was sure. I wanted to talk before that, but that was when I was sure we need to do this. And neither of us are familiar with interviews and setup and gear and whatever, but I'm like, let's just wing it and let's just see what happens.
Life lays out, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
So, chickens are clucking, people are moving around the neighborhood. It's a busy Saturday morning, and I am just here to have a conversation. We're going to be talking about hair as it pertains to identity, which is a really weird topic, I know. I'm about to go visit a friend of mine, Audrey. She said some things recently to me. There you go, just in the neighborhood. She said some stuff to me lately as I complimented her on seeing her naturally curly hair out on her WhatsApp profile picture. And I'm like, hey girl, you look so good. How long have you been going natural? And she said some really profound, deep things to me in that text. And I thought, I need to talk to this young lady because she was talking about hair not just from a vain or just an appearance, aesthetic, beauty perspective, but the idea of identity and who you are. And so I feel like there was a lot of young ladies that would benefit from hearing this wise, sweet, beautiful woman of God share her heart and her experience with her hair and her life. Thanks for watching. You said, I'm gonna quote you again. You said, the more natural we are, it appeals to people a lot. And you started to say earlier about identity. And I feel like that statement, when she texted me that, like it really resonated in my heart, because that is exactly, I think as you own more and accept more and find more joy and connect in who you are as a person, as an individual, and the way God made you, then all of a sudden you radiate something different.
Yeah.
There's a different confidence, there's a different comfort in your own skin, there's a different, like, just feeling who you are, embracing who you are.
Being you.
Yes. And I think that's attractive to people.
It is.
Male or female. You know, whether you're looking for a husband or not. We're not talking about attracting a husband. It's just people liking being around you. Like when I texted you, you said, the more natural we are, you feel like it appeals to people a lot.
Yeah.
Tell me what you meant by that, because that, I keep thinking about it. I'm like, what? I want to hear fully what she means by that.
Okay. Well, I think it has to do with maybe our ethnic background in a way, because my cousin made a comment to his sister, and he said when Audrey has her hair relaxed, she looks like any one of the other black girls, you know. But he said, but when she has her natural hair and she shows her curls, you can see the mixture that she has in her. And so then I'm like, it really does have a lot to do with your identity. And so then I kind of ended up embracing it back when it wasn't so popular yet. I had heard someone saying, Shanna Rankin, she was saying she was going to go natural like in 2014. I'm like, going natural?
What is that? Why would I want to be natural?
And I'm like, my hair, like my afro, because I had never actually noticed that I had curls. I always just knew that I had afro type hair, nappy hair, textured hair, but they used to call it like dry hair. Right. So then I grew up for a long time not wanting to embrace my dry hair, right, because it was considered not pretty or it didn't suit my face. Until then I learned how to work with it. So back then there weren't a lot of natural hair products in like 2014.
So that was 2014.
2014.
Okay.
And then I had to go to, I was in someone's wedding, and my mom like, if you're coming out in that wedding, you're not going with your hair like that.
Oh no!
She's like, your hair, it does not go suit, you need to do something with it. So I relaxed it, and I was so surprised at how much it had grown and how healthy it was prior to putting relaxer in it again. So then it was a good thing that I went through that process, because then I noticed the difference in the strength when it was natural compared to when it was relaxed.
So how long was it that you had not put any supplement in it?
I had like a year and a half that
So
I
from
had
2014?
to about 2016, around there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
So after the wedding?
So then after the wedding, I still kept relaxing my hair. I stretched my relaxer, so I was doing it like every 4 or 6 months.
Okay.
And then after a while, I was like, I think I want to go natural again, but I hadn't.
Really, what was the deciding factor that made you decide to try to go natural?
Well, before it was because I liked how it looked, but after I found out the damages that the relaxers and all these chemicals can have on you, I decided I wasn't going to relax anymore. In 2017, I had to undergo an operation because I had a fibroid. And I was
How did you find out you had fibroids?
I could feel like a mass near my navel.
Okay.
I kept feeling like this ball near my navel.
Okay.
So then when I went to the doctor, she's like, you have a mass and it's like the size of the head of a new baby. And she said, right now you could say it's like the size of a grapefruit. So I'm like, I have something that big, like just right there. And then she's like, yeah. And I think 2017, some part of 2017, I decided I'm going to go natural again. So then I went natural again, and then it was time for my wedding in 2018. Actually, today is our anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary!
So then I decided to do keratina, to try keratin.
Right.
So I tried the keratin. I liked the results, and I was told that my hair would go back to being natural, but that wasn't true.
Right.
Because it's the keratin bonds in your hair,
Right,
you know?
right.
So,
I don't know why hairdressers are lying a lot about keratin treatment.
I think some of them
Like
back
it's
then were
natural
that
and it's
educated.
easy and no, still,
Yeah.
because I know people that put keratin in their hair, people that got straight hair, not so curly hair, very straight hair, or a little bit curly hair. That a lot of people use keratin, and they're still feeling that like it's not damaging, it's good for your hair. Your hair will be back normal. Like it's like after so much time it wears off.
And it is the heat that damages our hair more than anything, because that process is like four times applying heat. So because you do one process, they put it in, they blow dry your hair, they seal it with the irons, and they wash your hair, and they do the process over. So I noticed then 3 months after we got married, I was expecting. And so then during that time I didn't use any chemicals, and I really wanted to go natural. And I think just before I found out I was expecting, I did a big chop. So I cut off all the keratin, and what little keratin stayed in my hair still had my hair pretty much straight up until the next year. Because then once he was born, then
A big chop. How much did you cut off?
I chopped it off. It was like the hair when we got married, and I used extensions. But right after the wedding, I did a big chop. I had a pixie cut.
Pixie cut. Okay.
Pixie cut.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's brave.
Yeah, and that's what my
Was
hair
it necessary to go that short? You think?
No,
Like
I wanted
it that short.
Yeah, I wanted to try a pixie cut, because I'm like, I've
So
always
you don't have to cut to a pixie cut if you're going for a big chop. You're frightening people. You're frightening
No,
people.
no. But when I always cut my hair, because you can also transition into going natural, so that's where you just let the relaxer grow, and then when you're comfortable, you cut off what is straight, because once your hair is wet, you can tell, okay, this is my natural hair, and this is relaxed hair.
Okay.
So then when the baby was born, the keratin grew out from the pixie cut. That's when I cut it off again. And I had a really nice fro. I could notice my curls really well. And I didn't have like postpartum losing hair or anything like that. I actually found that my hair was doing really good, thriving really good. And I actually don't use a lot of hair products.
What year was that?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've been going for 2 years. So you went from a little longer than a pixie cut to now. Okay.
Yeah. And since then,
We'll put a picture of her hair length.
yeah, yeah, I was actually very surprised because I kept thinking like, oh, I want my hair to get long, and that's one thing that natural hair people kind of struggle with is that we want to see our hair long, and then we
Right now.
Yes, right now, and it's a process because then this kind of hair does need a lot of care. It does need a lot of protection. More than products, it needs protection.
And what do you mean by protection?
Wearing bonnets, doing protective styling so that your ends aren't exposed, because when your ends are exposed, it causes a lot of friction, and then that friction breaks your ends, and that's how natural hair ends up with splitting. And my hair, even if I don't touch it and I just have my hair out, it tends to get, each strand can get little knots on it.
Yeah, the little tiny knots.
So that's something that I don't like. And then I actually struggle to find protective styling. I'll put my hair in a bun, and then some days I will have it out. But that's why I was surprised when I flat ironed it the other day, how long it was, because I was expecting it to be shorter because I knew I had damage. So right now I'm actually due for a cut because since 2019, after he was born, that I cut it, I haven't cut it since.
Oh wow.
And so then I underwent the surgery. And for people who don't know what fibroids are caused by, it's like a hormonal imbalance thing. So then they're kind of like already there, as one OB explained to me. It's like they're already there, but it depends on what hormones are going in your body. It causes them to react, and then they'll grow. So she said, basically, I'll always have them, she said, but if I'm consuming the right things, it shouldn't cause them to react or grow.
Like eating the right food?
Eating the right food, using the right products on myself. And one thing that I kind of keyed in on for myself was that during the time before I had the surgery, I was eating a lot of fried food, a lot of fried chicken, and especially that in a lot of pot. So then when I was having all of that, I'm like, I need to enjoy this right now, because once I have this surgery, I won't be able to eat this for a while. So it was only 2 weeks in between the time that I went to have the surgery. And when I went, it had grown 11 centimeters more. She didn't know it had grown until she did the operation, and she found that it had grown. And
you think it was fried food, particularly? What you were eating that was fried? Or what do you attribute that extra growth?
I feel like it might be the hormones that are said to be in chicken. Because then, even when I had my baby, my new OB found another little fibroid. And during that time, I really wasn't having fried foods, but I did something on I don't want to be eating chicken. I just feel like I shouldn't. And she found another one. So then after I had him and I started birth control, she said, you need to take a birth control that is low, that won't cause a lot of hormonal imbalance. So I did that, and I actually haven't been having any issues. I need to go and get a checkup now. But I do attribute a lot of the things that we put on our hair.
How does the hair product fit into that?
I actually heard someone talking about that yesterday, and I don't think it was someone who is in the natural hair community, but she was saying that the chemicals that are in hair dyes, that are in the relaxers, they attribute to cancer-related issues afterwards. So dyes have been attributed to people with ovarian or maybe cancer in the uterus. And then fibroids, well, it has been noticed that within the black community, the black women have it the most. Here in Honduras, I've heard a lot of women.
And so you heard, are you doing research online?
Yeah.
YouTube? Okay.
Yeah, YouTube videos have kind of touched on that. And when I was working back at Max, one girl came in and she had the most beautiful natural hair. I'm like, how long have you been natural? And she said, oh, I have about 7 years natural.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow. Like, I started relaxing my hair too. I was like, I was suffering from fibroids, and she was like, maybe that's what caused mine too. So she said I had them too. I was suffering from them.
Wow.
Yeah. And she hasn't. I think she said she hadn't had any issues since she started relaxing her hair. So I mean, it mightn't be for everyone that uses relaxers will do that, because I don't want people to think, oh, I can't use relaxers because it'll make me sick.
I think with health in general, what I've found, Audrey, is that like what my body can handle and function perfect with is not what your body can handle and function perfect. And what will cause my body to malfunction or get sick, which is really a malfunction of the body, is not the same thing what will cause your body. Some people can, I mean, you take example, you got some people that are drunk, alcoholics, that drink all the time and they live to an old age and they're fine. And you got some people that barely drink and die of cirrhosis young. You know, and what I found about cirrhosis is really about the liver and sugar in the liver, and alcohol, whether it's alcohol, sugar, or whether it's carbohydrates and tea and fresco. The liver don't know the difference of what type of sugar it is. It just knows that it's overworked and it can't repair. It can't repair and it can't process anymore. What makes the difference is really who your body is, your blood type, your diet, your genes, exactly. So some people might do relaxer their whole life and not bother them one bit. And then some other people might have sensitive bodies and in one time do relaxer and fibroids start popping up. You know, after 5 years of never doing it and not having a problem or something to that effect. I noticed because nothing is the same across the board for everyone when it comes to health and nutrition. But we know that God made our bodies to function a certain way. And I do think that generally chemicals, be it fresco or chicken or relaxer, whatever it is that we're putting that's so foreign into our body, it's bigger. The more we put it in, the bigger the chance that we're going to have malfunction or sickness or disease in our body, right? I know quite a bit. I've done a lot of research about hormones because I also had a bit of a hormone problem. At the same time, I started having, my hair was falling out like crazy. And as I did more research, I found out that was a hormonal issue too. So the same hormonal issue that was making me, I also had to have surgery and have cysts removed and have them rupture and all that. So I had one ovary removed with the cyst that was consuming. I have another ovary, so we're still good. You know, praise God. Everything's still functioning perfect. But I had to, at the same time as I was trying to get healthier and feel better, I started finding out about my hair. And then, so that's when I chopped mine off. This is the shortest I've had my hair since.
Ever?
I cut it so short. Understanding the way the perfumes, chemicals, foods, relaxers, the way they work in your body and how they disrupt hormones. If you're interested in that and you want to research, you can look up hormone disruptors on YouTube, anywhere. I'll try to link one or two of my favorite videos in the description or somewhere. For people that are interested in going deeper into that, because it is a real thing. It's not like just something you imagine or something for just a few people that research it. It really is a real chemical thing of why different beauty products and including relaxers or dyes into that category cause hormonal imbalances in women. And I noticed that women younger and younger are having female issues. Hard time getting pregnant or having miscarriages or having cysts and tumors and things that are, you didn't hear so common even 40 years ago. And I do think the chicken is a big deal. And I mean, what we're going to do, we got to eat the chicken.
Exactly.
We can't even get organic chicken here.
We can't.
If we could, we probably could afford it anyway. But me, I praise over certain things, and I said, Lord, cancel all bad effects of this in the name of Jesus. I don't know. My grace is not so calm, and you know, blessed be to this body. It's more intense depending on where I'm at and what I'm eating. You said that you have just started working out and drinking water, and then you made a comment about that making your hair, and I'm like, okay, you know, that one I hadn't really thought of. And so where were you going? What did you mean by that? Because she was just texting me like, you know, you text somebody a big paragraph and you say like 5 statements that you don't fully complete. And so I'm like, okay, what does she mean by that? So what did you mean by that?
Okay, so I've heard that drinking water, because of course what we put in our body affects what comes out of our body. So they mentioned that yes, it's important to have moisture on your hair, but drinking a lot of water promotes growth, and
I did not
it
know that.
promotes growth.
Now I drink a lot of water. I've always got to lead through it. Maybe my bottle is, see it, not too far. It's right here. I'm always got a bottle or 2 or 3 in my car. And
So that promotes growth, and I recently found out that because a lot of people do take supplements and vitamins for their natural hair or to promote the growth. But if you're consuming caffeine, this was so interesting. If you're consuming caffeine and taking the vitamins at the same time, the caffeine absorbs the vitamins. So if you
I did not hear that before.
So if you do consume caffeine, it's best to have your vitamin like in the morning and maybe have your caffeine in the afternoon.
Or vice versa.
I
did not know that. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you drink coffee?
I don't, but I recently started.
Yeah, that's actually that's my first question. Do you drink coffee?
I drink Coke. We drink Coke all day, every day practically. Yeah. So I have to give it up because
it's so bad for you.
It is. But I also found that I can give it up for. I just need a week to get off of it.
Try tea, like
making tea.
Not the one you
but the cold one.
Like make some tea.
Oh,
and add whatever you want. Add like sugar, lime, whatever you want.
I should do that.
Yeah, because you get the little caffeine fix and you get your little sugar. I'm off of sugar pretty much for a long time now.
Someone did green tea but cold.
Yes, my mom did that for years.
Yeah?
With lemon too.
Okay, well the person said this is missing something. I tried to make this missing lime. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll try that.
You can try it. It's great for you. For so many reasons. It's a good detoxer. It's really good for you. So definitely try that. I'm so anti-frescoes. So really.
Yes, I need to become anti-fresco.
Anyway, so get back to water and working out and how that affects hair growth.
And I actually noticed that when I was drinking a lot more water, it has an effect too, I think, even on the natural oils. I guess how they're distributed maybe. But
you feel like your hair is like more soft, more hydrated?
I think more, softer.
Being healthy in general makes healthier hair.
Yeah.
As it does your nails, your skin, everything. Like, the thing is that depending on what we put in our body and how we treat our body, what our body can make.
With my hair, I can have 2 styles. I guess I could say I can have an afro, or I can use products to get my defined curls to show. And I kind of think I need to find a product that can help me with that, because unless my hair is really wet, the product will stay and then my curls will show more. But then, other than that, it's
definitely a process. It's definitely not my best hair day. I have noticed that like everything you do, like when you watch like the curly girl videos, there's so many on YouTube. They put like the product in super wet, and they're doing like I do diffuse mine. I don't like having a wet head, like never. From time I was small, I used to be.
I need a diffused tip. That's what I need to get.
But when anything you change in the way you put it in, if your hair is too dry when you put the product in, depending on how many I usually use a leave-in and a gel. And like if you put it in the wrong order, if you don't put enough, the way you do it, like everything really makes a difference.
It does.
You watch them make that videos and you're like, oh my gosh, you gotta be so ridiculous, like this, exactly. No, but it's the truth.
It is.
It really, if you rake your fingers in versus you rub it, it makes a difference. So you gotta really work with it and try what works with you and what works for your hair, and then product. Product is so much product. The kinds of products will work for me.
Yeah,
they're too heavy for my hair.
Oh, okay.
But now I would have thought they would have worked better for your hair because you have more curly hair. So just because Cantu working for 5 other people don't mean it will work for you. You know, so like don't give up. That's why I'm saying all this about the process and the product. Not because I could teach. I'm not at the point of teaching to do hair by any means now. I'm still trying to figure mine out. It's a year in. But try different products. And don't give up or think like, well, my hair can't look nice because you tried 3 products and 3 different ways of doing it and it didn't work. Because it might take a lot more products and it might take more process than you imagine
and also,
to get it to work.
I don't know if you've heard about the denim brush. I guess you have.
I have, yes.
I need to get me one of those because I have heard and seen that it does help define the curls. And sometimes, if you're someone who doesn't know what products to use all the time that might work best for your hair, and you maybe just have a leave-in conditioner and you use a denim brush and maybe an eco gel I think it's called, and you use the brush.
I'll put a picture of the denim brush in the name so y'all know what it is.
Yeah, those help a lot because those are little tools that you kind of need. One tool that I really want to get right now is the massager for when you're washing your hair, because exfoliation on your skin is important, but also like on your scalp. So then you need a brush.
I almost brought one for you too.
So yeah, I recommend tools like that because along with all the treatments, you have to do things that also kind of assist your hair, kind of help your hair get to where you want it to be. Because of course hair will grow on its own, but sometimes we do have to make a little extra effort to get it
a little faster.
Yeah.
A little faster. Yeah. The idea of you and doing a YouTube channel, tell me just brief how you do exactly and where you're at with that.
Well, I haven't officially put up any videos yet. I actually did do a record because I'm always recording, but I'm never putting anything up. So I actually did a clip this morning because I said, well, since we're going to do this sit down, I'm like, maybe this will be one of the first videos that I put up as well, or it might be one of my second ones because I might do either I guess a video of me singing, or I might do maybe kind of an introduction to who I am. Either way, this will either be my first or second video, this one right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess maybe last year I kept pondering about whether or not I was going to do a YouTube channel, and I kind of asked around, like, do you think I should do a YouTube channel? And
what brought that to you though? What made you start thinking about that, you think?
I don't know, I guess because I have a lot of hobbies, a lot of things that I know people might like. And I felt like maybe I could be someone who contributes to the YouTube community. So I'm like, maybe I should start a channel. So then this year, I just opened a YouTube account, and then afterwards, about 2 months ago, I decided I'm gonna make it official, because then I feel like, okay, you're challenging yourself now by making this post, you're being accountable by telling people I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and then people are gonna be like, okay, we're waiting on these videos. And I actually have had that, yeah, I've had people ask me like, well, we're still waiting, but we don't see nothing. But right now, more than anything, I think my videos will be more faith-based because I'm a Christian, and maybe DIY things that I do for my home. And I'd like to do things with my son, because I'm always posting stuff about him, and people are quite entertained. So I'm like, maybe I should kind of put him in the mix.
Well, if I can speak to that, because me and Audrey are not that close as friends personally. That's probably going to change from after this. But we grew up in the same church. I watched her grow up actually, because I'm a little bit older than her. And for y'all that don't know, she's Miss Andrea Bowden's granddaughter, so being in church all the time with Miss Andrea. And it's interesting for me because it doesn't matter how you go or grow up in church, who you become as your personal relationship with God. You don't know that. As a parent, I don't know how you're going to turn out until I see the results, how you grow up. And in that few minutes of texting that you said some of these statements, I already felt like I had a lot of insight into you being very solid in your relationship with the Lord. And having that it's been over time, that you're not a new Christian, even though you're so young, but that there's a certain wisdom that only comes with time spent with the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says that wisdom comes from the Lord, and that we should ask for wisdom. And I heard that in that text. And one of the things that I'm hearing right now, like time with your son, like I feel like on our island, as a young mom, showing how to indulge and enjoy your kids and being a mom, I think that's really valuable. Our culture here, I feel like we don't celebrate kids enough.
Yeah.
We don't, we set kids aside, we talk stuff in front of them that we shouldn't, we expose them to things that we shouldn't.
That's my conviction.
Yeah.
I'm careful. I try to be very careful.
Yeah. And they're there, but the idea is like the old people thought children should be seen and not heard. So I think as a culture, for you to expose younger moms to the joy that being a mom can be, I think that is really cool. That's
And
really,
it's not easy because I do, like, one thing I always have to pray about is patience. I have to have a lot of patience.
Don't we all? We're working on all of us.
It's not easy when you have a toddler who demands of your time. This time right now with them, it's limited. They're gonna grow up, and then you know how teenagers are. I guess I can say I know because it wasn't that long ago, but they get to a place where they feel like I'm not so dependent on you.
And they don't want to spend time with you.
No.
Let me tell you, in a blink like this, I had my firstborn, and in a blink, she's 19. And I gotta beg her to hug me and kiss me now. I gotta beg her to spend time with me. It's not easy. They get to a point where like, I do find myself now, second time mom, that I have a 19-year-old and a 7-year-old. So now my 7-year-old, I do find myself relishing more with her and spending more time, just in the sense because I don't know if I'm going to have other kids, maybe not, we'll see. But I feel like when you're younger, you take it like, well, yeah, you take it for granted. As your kid, you're just like surviving. But I think like when you get older and the reality of like, I don't know if I'm going to have another kid, and the reality of that one has grown so fast, that is it. The reality of how fast it goes by, it's cliche as that sounds.
Yeah.
That really makes you feel like, I should indulge a little more.
Yeah.
I should indulge a little more. That being said, this is an area that I need to work on. I really do need to work on having more fun time with my daughters. It's not something I'm good at. I think just because I'm busy doing work stuff, but we have to prioritize and have time for work and have time for our kids too.
Yeah.
And that's an important message.
And I think conversations like these that I've heard before are kind of what makes me feel like you do need to embrace and enjoy. And I think too, with social media, there's pros and cons. And sometimes you see a message where they do encourage you to spend a lot of more family time, not just with your children, but giving a lot of yourself to your loved ones. Because in this day and age, we can get caught up and just want to focus on what we want to do. And a lot of times we do have to become selfless and not be so selfish.
Amen.
And
say that again. Look in the camera and say that.
A lot of times we have to become more selfless and less selfish.
Amen.
So,
Amen. The world needs more of that.
Yeah.
Amen. For younger ladies, with or without kids, but for younger ladies that are thinking about going natural, before or after this video? One, why should they go natural? And two, how would you suggest they start that process or walk that process out?
Okay. I think it needs to be your personal conviction. But it should be more that you want to enjoy who you are. You want to embrace who you are. You want to try something different maybe, and the way you should do that, maybe do look into more videos, because I've been natural now maybe like on and off altogether maybe 5 years, maybe less, but I recommend that you do a lot of research. That's important, because like we were saying, what works for me mightn't work for you, and we all have different hair textures and hair types. Investigate on that a little bit, because there's a lot of talk about high porosity hair and low porosity hair, and that wasn't something that I really had taken to consideration until about last year.
If you have a favorite video on that, we'll link that or put that in the description so you guys can watch that too.
Yeah, it's just a simple test, and you can already know maybe what your hair would like. What is the frame of mind, the perspective, or the heart shift that needs to happen for people that, like, to be brave enough to try to go natural? To be brave enough to go natural, I guess it's something that they just have to embrace themselves. Kind of prepare yourself. Be like, okay, this is my hair. This is the hair I was born with. And if people aren't willing to receive it, that means they're not willing to receive me. Because that's that's how I looked at it when I started to get criticism about, were you wearing your hair natural? Like, it doesn't look nice.
You did get criticism?
Yeah, I did get
People actually told you your hair did not look nice.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, were you wearing your hair like that? You look nicer with your hair straight.
Wow.
So then I was like, this is the hair I was born with. Like, this is the hair God gave me.
So,
Everything in my
so
DNA.
there really is like it's a real struggle then for you to be decided and feel good about it regardless of, I just realized somebody would be that bold to come up on you and say, well, your hair don't look like that. Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's real and it happens, and it might sound strange because some people will say it's just hair, but when you identify with it, it's not just hair. Because it's who you are, and also
it's not just hair. Put that in big here. That's interesting. That's a deep statement. Why is it not just hair? Because it is just hair. Why is it not just hair?
For the same reason, if you identify with it, it means more to you than it just being considered hair.
Something that I realized, and I started to say this earlier, that and it's no fault of my mom. She thought she was doing the best thing for me then. But I do feel the way our mom treats us and treats our hair specifically, we grow up, that it forms the identity in our heart as to what our hair should
look like, yeah.
And who we are.
Yeah, I think it's probably because back then there was a lack of, I guess you could say, education on natural hair. Like, I knew if I had a daughter in the next couple of years, she would be someone who loves her natural hair, because we didn't know how to maybe style our hair to where it looks really nice. But now we're in a day and age where we have access to all the products.
Talking about kids, can we talk about this for a second? Do you remember your mom or your grandma or whoever styling your hair as like a little girl? And what that experience was like?
Horrific.
Like what are you thinking?
I can briefly remember, because as a child, even though you're not so conscious to how you should look, you do want to look nice when you see other children looking nice. So for me, it was the dreaded having to sit between my mama legs as she combed my hair, yanked on my hair, cleared it out, do what she had to do, and also having them little balls.
The beads.
Yes. The little pony catch, slapping the back of your
She missed it and hit your head. I didn't even think about that. Oh no.
So I used to have it, I'm pretty sure, and then natural hair girls who grew up with their natural hair before relaxers know the horrors of getting slapped by those.
And did you have beads in your hair?
I used to use beads.
You slept on them? Do you remember sleeping on them?
I remember sleeping on them, that never bothered me.
Not bothering, because I wonder about that with little girls.
My dad actually loves natural hair. He actually, I remember when I transitioned, him telling my mom, you should go natural too. He's like, she looks so nice with her hair.
What a wonderful affirmation.
Yeah.
What a wonderful affirmation for your dad to say something like that. That would change it. That would change your heart for sure as a girl.
And so then he used to, like, when she would comb my hair in beads, and what he would have me do is to shake my head, because he used to like to hear the sound of beads. So he was very entertained with my natural hair when I was little.
But you have a lot of customs around the island. You know, like they pull the little girl's hair as tight as possible from time it's growing out.
Yeah.
And as I have thought this out, I thought, like, that's actually the worst thing
It's damaging.
you can do to naturally textured and curly hair, right?
Yeah. It actually causes, I think, I could be calling this term wrong, but I think it's called alopecia, where it causes like damages to the hair follicle, and then hair doesn't reproduce in that area.
Oh wow.
So I think I have seen a couple people years ago that actually grew their hair back by doing the hair massages in those areas where they lost hair.
So the very thing that a lot of parents traditionally are doing to their little girl's hair, thinking it's going to help it grow out, is actually setting them up for it to not grow out as good.
Yeah, if it's too tight, it can cause damage. Because even myself in doing sew-ins and doing braids, the weight of the hair, if it's not your natural hair, is extra weight. So it does sometimes damage the hair follicles. I actually had like a round hair around my hairline to stay very thin.
I've seen that. I've seen that. And before I started watching curly bear videos, I didn't realize. But now that my eyes are open to curls and natural hair and issues, good things and bad things with natural hair, I realized that a lot of that like far back hairline is because of too much weight and too much tightness over too much time. No time for the hair to rest and grow. Right? And so I just wanted to mention about that with little girls, because I do think that also too the fact that too young making it like an issue that it doesn't look good if it's not this way or that way. No, mind you, we don't want to be completely frizzy all the time, but I think it's okay if sometimes you let your little girl have a nice fro.
Yeah, just let her have her fro, treat it, put stuff on it.
Because I think the message that sends is that it's good to be pretty and fixed up braided, but it's also good to be in my fro natural with a little bow in it. I think it was programmed us as women when we were kids, if we had more different hairstyles as natural as can be and fixed up that variety, it will make a more rounded identity. I think, even just in my experience as I moved with my hair, I realized that I was programmed, and the reason my mama blow dried my hair all the time was really not for the look of it, it was because I used to fall asleep. And that's where she put me for my nap. She would braid me and put me on the edge of the bed and blow dry my hair off the edge of the bed and I would fall asleep.
Okay.
So it was more of like a tactic. More so than like, but I do think somewhere that programmed in me, because it's still, I would like having a wet head hair. Like I want my hair blow dry. I just want it dry. Now even curly. And so it is something that we're programming our daughter's identity, whether we realize it or we need to or not. You know, like a young mom that has a little girl and hear this and then thinking like, oh, well, maybe I might be damaging the hair growth. Is there a way you would suggest maybe to gauge like advice to them of how tight, or like how for them to know how tight or not how tight?
Well, one thing that I've noticed my cousin been doing with her little girl, she styles it as normal with rubbers, but when she's finished, and I've also seen them taking the rubbers and putting oil, I guess so that it would be easier to take off when it's time to take the hair down. She puts her baby hair in the little rubber band, and then she takes her fingers and she loosens them, she pulls them up a little, so that it's not
That's a great tip.
That's
a great tip.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Do you want to sing a song for me?
Okay. Anyone particular that you'd like us to do?
Nothing specific on my mind. Whatever is on your heart.
For your mercy not fail me, and all my sins I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, and in darkness night, you were close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
You're so good, Father. That was wonderful. Thanks so much for doing this. This is so cool. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Me too.